Hey guys, what's up? It's Paige and March, and Romanceopoly-a-thon is over. Thank God. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed doing it, but tired I am. Oh my gosh, like, I don't post on Instagram every day. I mean, I don't even do it like every week, and so doing it 7 days in a row was crazy. And so I'm gonna do my wrap up for all of the books I read for Romanceopoly-a-thon. The first book I read for Romanceopoly-a-thon was The Vanished Specialist by Webster and Nicole Blanchard. It is the second book in her Lost Planet series. The hero, he's the sweetest Mort in all of Mortis. I just love him. His name's Alex, yeah. And the heroine, her name is Emery. She has asthma, and she's like just progressively getting worse. And he is a specialist, and you know, he's always trying to figure out a way to. Their planet. They got hit with like a radioactive, something, and so they've always had to stay inside, and then they thought things were better, but then they got not attacked, but they got like ravaged by, I don't know what it's called, but like just a disease that turned them, just like killed them, and so they can't go outside because it's dangerous. Well, I mean, they can, but they have to have like gear and all that, and they're basically only in one like section of their planet, but they have to go to another one. They travel there to, he travels there to save her, and it's just, they love each other. It's sweet. I do love the first book more, but it's still a really good installment. I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, I can't imagine you not loving Calyx. He's so awesome. Okay. It's just like, it's a great book. So I gave it 4.5 stars. Just because I did really love it, but not as much as the first book. It does kind of have a slower pace to it, but I didn't mind that. And it definitely does have action, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next moments too. So the next book I read was Antiques and Murder, and this one was for the Abs on the Cover and Alien Avenue challenge. This one I read for new to me author and for the Cozy Corner, and you were supposed to read a cozy mystery, and so I picked Antiques and Murder by Elle Griffin. I got this an ARC for this a long time ago, and I should have read it, but I read it now, and it was really good. It's only 71 pages. Like, if you want a small town, like, just cozy mystery story that's kind of just, like, silly, you'll really like this. I really loved the heroine. Her name is Gemma Lee, I believe, and she's, like, so like me. It's so funny. It's a good book, and yeah, I didn't really tell you much, but I mean, it's 71 pages. There's a murder mystery. She figures out who does it. I was a little bit surprised who the killer actually was. I think I did have a thought that, oh, what if it's this person? But then I was like, no, I should have gone with my instincts. But yeah, it was a fun, enjoyable read. It took me hardly any time at all to read it, so it's good. The next book I read was for the Red on the Cover challenge and the Bad Boy Circus Square. So I read Where Bad Boys Are Ruined by Holly Renee. It's the third book in her Good Girls series. It's an opposites attract romance, and the heroine, she is a baker, and she's been working towards finally opening her own bakery, and she does, and it's the hero's building next door, and so she buys it or rents it from him, and he's a tattoo artist. I mean, he's the total bad boy, and she's the total good girl and sweet girl, and yeah, they have a connection, and it's just like really funny. It gave me like that light giddy feeling, and just, it was so good. I really loved it, and I'm really excited to read other books by her. It was just a fun novel. If you want a foodie romance, although I don't know, I don't really think it was too heavy on the foodie, which, I could have done with more, but whatever. It was still good and good stuff. The next book I read was Cipher. It was for the one word in the title and the Faraway Land corner challenge, and that was just to read a fantasy. And so I really love Larissa Ione. I read her Revenant, fell in love with the Demonica series, and so anytime I see a sign up for one of her books, I sign up for it. And this is, I don't know what number it is, but it's her Demonica Underworld series. And Cypher, I was right, he is a fallen angel, and he's been kidnapped by well, you know, these bad fallen angels, and they want him to tell them where to find Azagoth. He's sorry. As a goth. I always think as a goth. But no. He's the Reaper, and he is getting his own book. I mean, he had his own book, but now he's getting a full-length book on October 19th or 12th. I'm so excited. Anyways, and so Cypher's being, like, tortured and all that, and the heroine, she is his handler. It's, you know, their romance, and it's really good, and the books have just been progressively getting, like, more depth to him. You know, she's been slowly working up to where we're going to have Reaper, and it's just so exciting. It was so good. I gave this 5 stars. Oh, I didn't even tell you what I gave this. I think I gave this 4 stars, and I think I gave this 4 stars as well. I'll make sure I write right if I was wrong. So this was 5 stars. I hella loved it. Okay. And I did read this. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. It's the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and it follows Wrath and Beth. Wrath is like the king of the people of, you know, the vampires, and Beth's dad had, at the very beginning, he asks him if he will help Beth through her transition, and he turns him down, but stuff happens, and so he does decide to help her through her transition, and, you know, they fall in love. And I think I said I gave it 5 stars. But, yeah, I did, well, I don't want to say I had problems with it. I started reading it, so I was, like, confused for, like, the first 30% of this book, just because I am not used to such abrupt point of view changes anymore. Like, I mean, I'm used to it with, like, Cheryl and Kenyon. I was used to it, but I'm not anymore. So I had to figure out who that was. And, like, the other piece that I really didn't like was that we get, like, the lesser people's point of view. They just, it feels like being in, like, a fanatic's mind or, like, a cult type person's mind. And I hate those things. And so I'm never going to enjoy reading that part. But that being said, I really did love it. And if I felt like it deserved 4 stars, I would have given it 4 stars if I thought that. But no, it deserves 5 stars. It was a good book. I understand why everybody loves the series. You know, it was, you know, entertaining and exciting. And it was impossible not to fall in love with Wrath and Beth. And just, it was a good book. It was a good book. And I'm looking forward to reading more. And I meant to show this to you in the last video, but I forgot it. Yeah, I read this like when I was probably maybe a sophomore. And look at that. Look at that. Do you see how much I have left to read? Like, this is like 80 to 85% left. And I didn't finish it, and I could kick my teenage self's ass. Because I'm just like, what were you doing, Paige? Nothing. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that to you. All right, the next book I read, so I read this for the Under the Covers Peace Love Books recommendation, and for the Dungeon Square, you could either read, you know, somebody who was an ex-con or in prison, or you could read one of their book boyfriends list picks, and so I chose this one because I wanted to finally read it. Finally finish it. It only took 3 tries and like 8 or 9 years, but I did it. All right. The next book I read, so at this point I didn't really need to read anymore because I had read a book I owned, an author that was new to me, and just all of them. But I did decide, and an illustrated cover, I did read this one for the illustrated cover, The Right Swipe by Alisha Rai. I've really been meaning to read her ever since I listened to her interview on the Wicked Wallflowers Club podcast, and I loved this book so much. The heroine, she created a tech company, or a tech app called Crush, and it's a dating app, and it's all about empowerment and just all that, you know, women have more control over who they're seeing, and just, it's good. And the hero he's from, you know, one of her rival companies, and they come together to work on it, and to work on a project. And I don't really want to get too much into it because I did read the synopsis, and there's a lot of stuff, obviously, that was not in the synopsis, so I don't want to do too much spoilers. But, I mean, so, I didn't really think, I thought it was just going to be kind of like a light, fun, rom-com-y book. And it definitely does have that. But there's a lot of, like, depth to it, too. Like, I cried, and it was beautiful, and it's just, like, really relevant to today, and just, like, it's empowering, and you should definitely pick this up when it's out. It's coming out July 12th, I believe, or the 11th. It's in July, okay? I know that much. And just, I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. I did consider giving it 6 stars, but I did only give it 5 stars. I loved the hero and the heroine. The hero, he's a super sweet guy. If you want a super sweet, genuine, good guy, what's his face? Samson is your guy, okay? I really, really love this book. I highly, highly recommend you pick it up when you can. Okay, what is wrong with this? It won't swipe. The irony. Okay. Oh, okay. The final book that, now I know why it won't swipe. The final book I read, this was for a book you own, and it was for urban fantasy. And I was supposed to read this last month, and I actually landed on the square again, so I'm just like, well, I will read it. And so this is Magic Burns by Ilona Andrews. It's the second book in the Kate Daniels series. I was going to read Magic Bites, but yeah, I watched Mara from Books Like Whoa. She loves the series. She recommended reading this book first, and so I did, and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. There's still been not really a lot of romance. I don't know. There might be a little bit of romance in the first one. I can't speak to it because I have not read it yet. And I'm sorry, there's a thing on... There's a gross spot on my cover. Okay, anyways. And in this book, Kate, there is going to be a flare of magic. So in this world, there are tech flares, or well, not tech flares, but there is times when magic leaves the world and it's just tech. And then there are times when, and then it will be magic's time and the tech goes to shit. So, like, I mean, they have to have, like, horses and buggies to get around because, like, the cars won't work. And basically, the magic has, I mean, it's just been fluctuating, like, way more frequently than usual. And so they realize there's going to be a flare, and in the very beginning of the book, Kate, she finds 2 kids. One's a 15-year-old boy, and the boy asks her to take care of the 13-year-old girl because she doesn't know where her mom is. Her mom joined this coven, and it's been pretty obvious that the coven, like, conjured something, and just, so, yeah. So she's trying to prevent the big bad from, you know, like, destroying the world, or destroying Atlanta. And it was really good. It was exciting, and it was full of action, and the world building is so awesome. You go through, like, several different, like, sections of Atlanta, and it's just, they created an awesome world, and I can't wait to read the first book and to read the rest of the series. So that is all of the books that I have read so far. Anyways, that is it. I will see you guys later.